Let's do
Three,
it.
2, 1, action.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Life Lessons Gaming, where we talk about story and lore for games. We are joined with the magnanimous, the cutest, most Giga Chad, just cuddly companion that you could ever have in a video game. Abby from Wuthering Waves, the voice actor for Abby from Wuthering Waves. We have Safiyya Ingar in the flesh.
Hello. Would you like me to introduce myself?
Please and thank you.
Hello, world. I'm Safiyya Ingar and I voice Abby in Wuthering Waves.
Thank you so much for taking the time. We definitely appreciate it. I think one of the things with Abby's just been kind of like a really interesting character where all the mystery and intrigue of Abby is starting to really come like to a boil right now within the story. And so I felt like what better time to have this discussion, right?
Absolutely. I feel like so many people are asking me questions and I'm like, listen, man, even if I knew the answers, I couldn't give them to you. I'm contractually obligated. I can't say anything.
I love it. I love it. Could you tell us what is like a favorite moment of yours when you're, I'm sure you have a lot, but if there's one that you can like distinctly remember from your time voicing Abby, yeah, do you have something like that for us?
I think it would just be any time they ask me for like my own input. So the one session I remember, it started blowing up on TikTok a little bit where it's like they do like the Abby, don't run, keep the food coming. And it's like the variations of the other characters' like lines, but Abby's versions.
Boo. Hey, just want to let you all know, I know some of you all are probably wondering, where's the lore video, Life? That last one was fire. Where's the next one? Great news, it's on the way. Probably it'll be here in the next day or two tops. All right, so definitely keep an eye out for it. It's gonna blow your mind. It's honestly, this one's gonna be just as good, if not better, than the last one. So thank you all so much for your patience. Back to the interview.
And then one of them that was improvised completely was they wanted to think of another third big one, but they didn't really know. And I think they had like a vague idea in mind because they mentioned the Avengers. And they were like, we want like a kind of like Avengers-esque call and return. And then that's when I was like, because I know the Avengers quite well, I was like, we can do Cap and the Hulk. And they were like, do you know how that goes? And I remember like everyone in the booth started like giving their input and how it went. And I just went, just hit record. And then I was like, that's my secret, Rover. I'm always hangry. And everyone was like, oh my God. And then they were like, yes, we're gonna do that one. And so they rolled with that. We took a couple of takes of that and they put it in like, I remember that I saw them live putting it in the spreadsheet as we did the recording because they were like, okay, we're gonna ask the Rover voice actors to do this line then, which was really, really cool. And they do things like that with me all the time because they really, it's wonderful like as an actor when people trust you with the character like regardless. But with Abby specifically, like it feels like they just, the whole team, they just know that Abby is me and I am Abby, and everything that I give is like, it's something that only I can do. There was something really like satisfying. I went in a few months ago actually to record 2.7, some content for 2.7, and they were like, you know, every single actor who voices all the other characters, whenever they come in for their sessions and they like, they're playing opposite Abby, they always try to do an impression of Abby, but no one can ever nail it. And I'm like, hate to break it to you, but it's just me.
Honestly, so, it feels like whenever I hear you go from your actual voice to Abby, it feels like some magical switch is being clicked. Because like it's weird. Like, obviously, you know, if I was a voice actor, maybe it would make more sense to me. Maybe it wouldn't, I guess, technically by what you're saying. But it's just like I don't know. It really almost doesn't feel like your voice in some ways, where it's just like it just sounds so distinctly unique. So yeah, I definitely understand that. And that line was, that thing went huge. I remember the community was talking about it. It was just like, that one, that's my secret, I'm always hangry. Because that was actually the event where we actually got to sort of like pseudo play alongside Abby. Like Abby was like a literal part of the combat.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, that was cool to see. Like I saw the edits and stuff, and I was just like, one of the captions was just like, "We finally got to fight with Abby," and I was just like, "Oh," because usually it's like Abby sweeping in and like using a big move out of nowhere, or absorbing something, or saving Rover. So that was really cool to see like in-game combat with that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
No, and then that's the thing, right? Like one of the things that I really appreciate about Abby, just to this is gonna be a little bit try not to get too big of a head on this, but too late.
Too late.
Seriously, like Abby, when I saw Abby just like throughout the story, I already liked Abby. I thought Abby was like adorable. But as things progressed, I was just like, and you know what's really interesting too about Abby? I have to say this. I've been playing the game since closed beta test 1, right? Like just about as early as it possibly could be. The only one earlier was the technical test, which wasn't even held. It was like, I think it was primarily held in China. If there were people in the US who played it, it was just like not public. And Abby was never a part of any of those.
Yeah.
And so it was really weird to me. I want to say, okay, let me remember. I'm pretty
Let's
sure
go back
Abby.
in time.
Yeah, back in time. I think maybe Abby was in CBT 1, but not. I mean CBT 2. My bad, because that was right before the game came out. But CBT 1, Abby was not in. So I think when I played CBT 2. That's when I was just like, wait, what? I'm hungry. Like that's I think the first line you said. Just like, that's such like a baby.
I literally remember I was just like, I was trying to get a rein on the character. I was like, who is this thing? And then they're just like, oh, I'm hungry. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm just sleepy and hungry, I guess. That's it.
Yep. It's like sleep. Abby has like 3 modes: sleepy, hungry, and Giga Chad. Like that. It's just or farming rather. Just like comes in, saves the day, goes back to sleep, does not elaborate.
Hell yeah.
and so yeah, that was just like, I was like, wait, what a second, what is this? Because like I said, as a lore content creator, right? Like I try to pride myself on having a decent. I don't know everything. Like just contrary to popular belief, I do not know everything, but I make it my business to learn. And when I heard that, I was like, wait a second, you weren't in the CBT 1. What's going on? And you didn't even hear yourself. We couldn't see you. We just heard you. And it's just like, okay, what's going on here? And then, as things continued, I think it was in the Overthrax fight when Abby officially comes out. And it was just like, it was just a shock. It was definitely like a shock to the system, but a welcome shock, because Abby would go on to constantly, from that moment, save Rover. Like that's one of the things. People think that Rover is just like this OP character. It's just like, no, Rover gets saved and helped so much. The moment, okay, this is such a funny moment. When Rover was on the bridge, and it was in Renacita, Rover's on a bridge, and a dragon comes, knocks them both down, and then you see this like screenshot of Abby, like wide-eyed, tiny pupil, like trying to pull Rover.
Like trying to pull Rover up.
L on the shore.
That was one of the first memes I saw of Abby, and I was just like, what is Abby doing?
I love it.
I always love recording those sessions too, because I think some people, even with the whole like Abraxas moment, there are some people that are like, oh, why is the VA talking about this moment? They don't speak. But I learned that lore drop very early on, and because there's a little effort sounds that I have to make. So sometimes they play me these cutscenes, and I see those moments, and I'm just like, okay, so what am I doing? Okay, I'm pulling something, or like I'm trying to pull something, or like I'm popping through something, or I'm dashing through the air, and I have to do those little squeaks and growls and grunts and stuff. And they're like sometimes the funnest things to do, because it'll be like sometimes it'll be like a half rendered or just sketches, like a rough cut of what's gonna play out. And then I'll be like, okay, and Abby swoops in, grabs Rover, like slingshots them into the air. Okay, cool. What does that sound like? And then I have a session when I'm just like things like that, which is so much fun. But that was one of the earliest sessions of that kind of thing that I did. And I remember everyone just being like, what is Abby doing? And I was like, I don't know. It was so much fun.
No, yeah, for sure. It was fun to watch, for sure. And you just reminded me really briefly, and then I'm going to go to the next subject. So one thing that was really funny to me, since we're on the topic of like, grunts, was in 2.5 when there's this fight between Frolova and Rover. And throughout that fight, Rover's basically put like let's just call it a compromised position. And so the gym is in the air and Abby just like, comes out and is like, okay, awesome, Abby's here. Yeah. And tries to get the gym. And the second Abby tries to get the gym, just like, hey, I got it. And it's just like, I went through so many emotions. I was just like, yeah,
where'd they go? I remember I actually recorded that session and I was like, did Abby die? And they're like, no, Abby's okay. And I was like, okay, are you sure? And they were like, yeah, don't worry, Abby's fine. And I was like, okay. Because there's like a death scream, like.
Yeah, I was just like, what is going on here?
It was just like a squeaky little moment. I was like, wah! That was nice. I love doing moments like that. They're always so much fun. And the team, like when they're playing it in front of me, we're always just like, okay, so like what would that sound like? But what I love, and it's one of the reasons I became a voice actor in the first place, is the fact that like I grew up watching anime, grew up playing video games. Like I just I know what moments like that sound like. I know what those like very alive moments in between people saying things, what that sounds like. And so I was just like, I got it, guys. And then I did it, and they were just like, okay, give us a few more of those, some variety. And there's nothing like just like seeing two fully grown people just stare me down while I'm just going like, and then just like making sounds like that, and then they're like, okay, we'll take all of those and we'll just do whatever. It's so much fun.
No, so that's a really good segue. So I guess I have to ask this question now. I'd like you to tell us, what is your favorite anime, or if you have like maybe some tops, maybe like top 3, what have you, and
okay,
how did you get started with like voice acting? So
ooh, that's gonna have to be 2 separate questions, because the second one is quite a big story. But the first one, okay, so I'd say top 5 generally is obviously One Piece, Naruto. Naruto is mainly for the nostalgia. People can argue amongst themselves about the writing. Yeah, I know, right? Like I'm that level deep. But for me, Naruto was one of the anime that like honestly got me out of so much. I feel like a lot of people that are really into anime has that one anime that like pulled them out. Do you know what I mean? Like made them feel like life was worth living, life was worth fighting for. Naruto was that one for obvious reasons. One Piece, Naruto, Full Metal Alchemist. My other tattoo is Full Metal Alchemist themed. I also have Al's name tattooed on my hand. I just love Full Metal. I think it's one of the most sublime bits of storytelling ever, and obviously mirrors a lot of what's happening right now, as much as people want to defy it, especially One Piece as well. Like that sort of really charged storytelling with grounded characters that are nuanced and complicated, and one can argue so and so's a bad guy, so and so's a good guy, but I feel like with Full Metal, with One Piece, with those kind of stories, you're just like, oh no, but it feels like they all have a reason and a motivation, and it's all so messed up. So I love. So those are 3. I feel like Assassination Classroom doesn't get enough love. I feel like it's still a little niche.
It's good. It's actually interesting. So my wife's parents are teachers. To be honest, my mom is a teacher. A lot of teachers in my family. But it's interesting because she showed that anime to both of them, and they were very intrigued actually throughout it. And it's definitely a solid show. The ones that you just mentioned, the One Piece. You know what's crazy? Because like for me, One Piece, like you'll say, oh yeah, my favorite anime is One Piece, and then people will be like, oh, you're just you're a tourist, or of course the super popular one. But it's just like, look, y'all, it's popular for a reason. Like I watch a lot of anime. Like I mean, I guess you could probably. I watch a lot of anime.
No, what? You couldn't tell.
But yeah, One Piece and Naruto are actually at the top for me. Interestingly enough, because just like, and people will say like, okay, which one do you like more? It's like, it's so hard because they're both they're two totally different stories, and the way that they're told is very different too. Like the Naruto story is a lot more like emotional. Interestingly enough, I was watching this scene from Naruto recently, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this thing hits so hard. Like the moments in Naruto really hit. And so
the music is so like evocative, like every time I hear the pipes, or like wind, that first ending, I can't listen to it without crying.
my brother, actually, my older brother, for some reason, I don't know, maybe I was too young or whatever, maybe I just didn't listen to endings at the time, but I didn't listen too hard to Wind the first time. And then my brother was telling me like one of his favorite songs from Naruto was Wind. And I was like, huh? And I was like, okay, Akaboshi, let me look it up. And then I was like, oh shoot, this is actually like heat. And it's like it's one of my favorite songs from Naruto now too, after actually listening to it. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm just being honest, okay? Hot take. Naruto spoiled us so hard with their OSTs because there's so many bangers, like legitimately OST, like the openings, the endings, there's so many good ones. And now when I watch anime that are like on the longer side, I'm not gonna lie, like, okay, One Piece, I'm sorry, but the OSTs in One Piece are like, they're hit or miss. Like there's some that are like, so.
Yeah.
Are you caught up with the anime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the ones that I actually appreciated the most, shout out to Kuma, he's the GOAT, is the song that was playing for Kuma. The ending is called The One, I think, by Muque. I don't know how you pronounce it, but that's how it's spelled. And that song was really good. It's basically like the ending, where it's like you have Kuma and Bonnie, and love that song like so much. But yeah, overall it's kind of hit and miss. And I think Naruto really spoiled us.
I can't lie, that's why I skip them all in One Piece. Like I love the story. I can't. I'm gonna get hate for it. I'm so sorry, but like I'm there for the story. But also I have this thing of like, it's kind of, this is slightly on a tangent, but it's also why I don't watch trailers for movies nowadays.
Yeah, same.
Because I feel like if you know what to look out for, you're gonna get shit spoiled for you. I don't feel like people have quite mastered how to do a good opening or ending without just shoving a bunch of spoilers in there. And so now I'm just like, sometimes I'll listen to it the first time around, like I'll look down, I won't even watch what's on the screen, and then I'm like, okay, cool, that was a banger, or that was a bit of a flop, and then I'll just like skip it. But nowadays I just straight up don't watch openings or endings because I'm just like, I just don't want things spoiled for me. It's just happened way too many times, and I'm just like, so they're gonna defeat that character in that fight. Great, okay, cool. Like it was inevitable, but I didn't want to see how it was gonna happen in the 20-second trailer.
Yeah, I highly recommend watching it. Specifically the one with Kuma and Bonnie, like that ending. Just look up. You can look up like One Piece The One ending, and it is, that thing hit my heart. Because just real talk, like you could say it's like a pseudo spoiler, but if you're paying attention to the story, there's certain things you just kind of knew were gonna happen. And truth be told, even when I think about it, it didn't fully. Yeah, no, there wasn't a single spoiler in it when I really think about it. I mean, it alluded to certain things, but that's like I said, that's a tangent. But The One, just check it out. Let me know what you think.
I promise I'll queue it up for the moment we're done with this, and then I'll message you my reaction.
Okay. But yeah,
and then Vinland Saga. I love Vinland Saga.
I need to watch that. I've heard really good things about it. I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So that's my top ones, I think.
I say Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it's not an anime. But it's just
absolutely. Yeah, it's iconic. But I think that's where I've had it happen before, where I've had like flipping dude bros yell me down and be like, "This is technically not an anime." I'm like, I know, but I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. Like I feel like it's got to be like, honorable mention, like honorable doctorates and stuff. Like
for sure.
Avatar: The Last Airbender has to have like some type of honorable whatever. But anyway, so then the next question. So how did you get started?
So I've always known, I knew I wanted to be a voice actor before I knew I wanted to become an actor. And I know that sounds kind of weird because you'd assume that one would come before the other, but I guess it was just because I grew up with like anime and stuff, and I was, don't care if I get heat for this, I was that kid in the playground who used to just like do the voices all the time, and he used to quote things all the time. I was cringe, but I was free. And that kind of like gave me like, and I grew up with like, I think I'm going to give myself props where it's due. I have a muscularity for voices, and I never really saw it as that. I just saw myself as like the annoying kid who could do accents and voices very well. And then I became a professional actor. I started acting professionally like 8 years ago when I graduated from drama school, and my teacher at drama school, my recorded voice teacher, I'm going to call her, at drama school, she was a purist. She didn't believe in animation. She actively hated animation. She hated video games. She didn't see it as an art form. She didn't see it as something to be taken seriously. I would literally be arguing with her in the middle of classes and being like, girl, like, there are people like making bank off of doing this. Like, this is a skill you should be teaching us, even in a business sense. But she hated it, wouldn't agree with it, wouldn't touch it. And so I kind of left drama school feeling like voice acting wasn't going to happen for me. I still wanted to do it though, really badly. And then a voice actress named Alex Wilton Regan, if people want to Google her, they will notice her immediately. She's in Mass Effect, Dragon Age Inquisition as the female Inquisitor. She's in Assassin's Creed. Like, she's huge. She's amazing. She's actually also Augusta in Wuthering Waves.
I absolutely adore Augusta. Her voice, just her presence. It's really. If you ever see this, feel free to hit me up if you want to chat. But
I can listen. She's basically my mom. So this is where people are gonna find out this mysterious little tie. Because when we found out we were gonna be in this game together, like, I screamed because she was just like, I'm gonna be in the same game as you. But Alex put out a call in 2020 on Twitter, looking for voice actresses or aspiring voice actresses of color. Specifically Black women is what she wanted to focus on, but she obviously was like, I will also open the breadth to any other voice actresses of color who want to join the fold. And she put out a call to be a mentor. And this was obviously during lockdown. This was part of her, and this is where I want to give her so much credit, because this was her way of giving back and sort of turning around and going, look, I as a white woman, like, get given opportunities and roles that a lot of the time can and should be given to women of color. But not only do people love to make the argument of, oh yeah, there's never anyone out there for us to give these jobs to. It's also just like, they usually go straight to like the first 10 people that they use over and over again.
Yeah, that's something we all noticed. Like, if you look in cartoons or anything, like, I started noticing, I was like, first of all, I'm very happy that for anybody who's getting work, right? Like, I'm never gonna be mad at somebody getting work. But it is kind of weird when you see, like, wait a second, you voiced this, you basically voiced my entire childhood. And then you ask yourself, like, if anybody just objectively wanted to say, oh yeah, I want to be a voice actor when I grow up. And then you come to find out, well, historically, voice acting has only had like 10 people doing the whole thing. So where would all the little kids in the world fit if nobody else but this one group of people got to voice act stuff? So it's just like, oh yeah, when I get older.
No tea, no shade. They're talented and they're amazing, and some of them are my peers now, and it's amazing. Like, you know, it's insane the amount of amazing actors, voice actors that I've now come across on this journey and now know me by name. And I'm like, dude, I grew up with your voice. Like, what the heck? Like, I was like 14 years old, like watching these cartoons and hearing your voice in my ear. And now you know my name? Crazy. And they were the ones that got the work. And Alex was one of those people that was just like, you know, like, there is an imbalance. Let me help correct this. And she turned around one day and was like, I want to mentor women of color to essentially go, here are the parts you should be playing. And I think that's such a powerful form of activism, because also it provides financial, you know, empowerment as well as anything else. Like, she's literally going, hey, I get paid really well to do these jobs, but you are the women that should be playing these characters. So here, take the money. And so I had to audition for her. And what was amazing was, I remember we jumped on the call. It was a Zoom call, and I remember I was so nervous. And she sent us scripts for us to do. And on after my first go, she was just like, why aren't you already working? And I was like, And this was only, mind you, this was only 5 years ago. And I was so anxious and I was so nervous, and I was a completely different actor to who I am right now. I was so scared of a lot of things. And I was so scared because a lot of people had told me that I couldn't do a lot of things, including my recorded voice teacher at school. She literally used to tell me that I wasn't any good at voice acting, which I think was absurd.
That's so weird.
I know, right? And
that's
then
kind of a failure from
like
a teacher's perspective. Like, usually the
Don't even get me
teachers.
started on all
Yeah,
that.
okay,
That's a whole other conversation. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like,
bury the hatchet.
especially people of color, we know what it's like to constantly be undermined, underappreciated, undervalued, but also just like completely underestimated. Again, why I love Naruto so much. But anyway, she was just like, you know, I want to take you on, and she took 5 of us on in the end. And to this day, we are all really, really good friends. Like literally, like a bunch of them just messaged me now because I just found out I've been longlisted for an award. Like these women have carried me and helped me grow so much in this journey. But Alex essentially was like, I'm going to teach you guys everything you need to know, the financial literacy side of it, the kind of voice acting you can do, how you can do it, negotiating contracts, all that kind of stuff. All I need is your discipline.
W. Augusta.
Honestly, she was literally just like, I just need your discipline and your presence. And that's all I'm asking. She didn't ask us for money. She didn't ask us for anything. And again, such a powerful form of activism because it just allowed us to show up like tentatively if we are, and take notes and observe. And she would like, you know, be such a valuable resource and asset. And we got to ask her loads of questions. Then Joe Pickard, another voice actress, an amazing woman, she then joined on board with us as well. Older actress, just a most incredible woman, both of them are. And we basically just formed this little family. Through this little program. She introduced us to all the gaming studios, like all the studios that do all like the animations and stuff like that in London. We met them one-to-one, and they got to like take all of our reels and our material and stuff, and to this day they're the ones who hire us.
That's awesome, honestly. Like mentorship is it's so slept on in this, I don't know, modern society that we live in. It you know, as I always say, be the change you want to see, you know? And so, you know, like that's what's up. That's really awesome.
Yeah. And literally like, and the best part is like, it wasn't like some Nepo baby type sitch. Like the most she could do was be like, these are my girls. And then she'd tap us in and be like, go make me proud. And then we'd go into these rooms and we saw it. I used to, especially like back when I was still making a bit of a name for myself, like I would see people's like live reaction to me when I'd go into the booth and they'd be like, okay, who is this kid? And then I'd audition for a part and they'd be like, do that again? And then I'd do it again. They're like, you're really good at this. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's just like, it's this idea of like opening doors, right? It's like, just because the door is open doesn't mean they're gonna just say, like, oh yeah, because at the end of the day, money is money, and they're not gonna just like cast somebody who's bad at the job. So it's like
they've still got quotas they need to hit. They've still got, like, let's be honest, again, like Alex understands, this industry it's tough. It's a really tough industry. And so when you know that, yeah, there is a certain roster and caliber of actors that they usually go to, you strolling in as a little newbie, you're just kind of like, I'm nervous. But again, what also helped, I think, put me ahead of the game is my knowledge and understanding of the medium of video games, of animation, because I knew it very, very well, as you can see.
Yeah.
And I felt like and so I'd walk into sessions and a director who's never worked with me before would be trying to explain like a cutscene, like mathematically what a cutscene is, and then I just do a very short form version of like, oh yeah, so it's when, you know, the character's running around for a bit too long, and then, like, I'm not saying this is what a cutscene is, but if they're trying to give me an example of what a dialogue is supposed to be, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, like when characters running around in the wrong direction and then the sidekick character has to prompt them to go back in the other direction because they're going the wrong way, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, got it. And then I will just do the line and they're like, okay, feels like you know what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah. And then those people will bring me back again and again and again. And now I've carved a little niche for myself in a way, which has been really, really wonderful. And I'm still discovering, I'm still learning. People are still discovering me. I signed with a voice agent nearly 4 years ago now. Because again, through that mentorship, she then got us like submitting ourselves to agencies and stuff. And yeah, I signed with my agent, Harvey Voices, and she's incredible. They're incredible. My team is amazing. And yeah, I get people asking for me now, which is like
crazy.
Whew, I'm not gonna start crying, but like I'm sat there going like, what is going on? Like people people like know me now and they know I'm good at this and they trust me with it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let me show them what I can do. And then there's things that I do that I'm still shocking myself with. I'm like, yo, I didn't know I had that in the chamber. Okay. But all it took was for someone to be like, hey kid, come on. You can do it. I promise. And I was there going, are you sure? And they were like, yeah, it's okay. Don't be scared. You can do it. Come on. And then like I came out of my shell and now I'm here and I'm doing it and I'm thriving and it's wonderful. So that's that.
That's awesome. That's a very encouraging story. I say this all the time, just as a personal anecdote. Sometimes it's not that you're not good. Sometimes it's just you haven't gotten your chance yet. And like for myself as a content creator, like, I'm, been making content for a while now. And there's definitely been points where I was just like, what's the point? Like, well, not so much what's the point, but it just felt very demotivating. Because, maybe you haven't popped off yet or what have you. Or even to the point where not even just a matter of popping off, but sometimes you just wonder, like, am I even good at this? And as time progressed,
which you are, by the way, I just want to say, you really are. You're great. Just, yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of got to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't think that's the case. I think it's just I just haven't had my moment yet. And recently, actually, I just had a video pop off, which was awesome, and I appreciate the Wuthering Waves community so much for that. It's kind of weird. I just have constant comments under that video, people saying, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that there were lore creators in the Wuthering Waves space, and I had no idea." Blah blah blah, so forth, so on. And I'm like, yeah, we're here. We exist. And it's just been like, where have you been this whole time? If I had known you were here.
Listen. Do you know how hard it is rolling for this long, putting in the numbers, the effort, the hours, the blood, sweat, and tears, the work? And you're like, bro, like I feel invisible out here because unfortunately, like visibility is the game now. Like you have to really put yourself out there, and there's a real pressure. And I constantly have people asking me like, why don't you make content? Why don't you do this? Like you're really funny, you should do that. And I'm like, bro, like it's because it doesn't feel organic if people are telling me to do it, and B, it just never felt right because it never felt like the right people were finding me. And sometimes it feels like you're starting into a chasm. And literally the exact same things happen to me now where like, again, like 2 days ago and this morning it was announced that I've been longlisted for an award. So many things I've experienced this year has gone so far beyond the scope of anything I've experienced as an actor so far. And now it feels new and nerve-wracking again. Whereas I think I was kind of like, and I still do because I do have a wealth of experience. I kind of trundle around being like a war vet, like smoking cigs in the corner, being like, hey newbie, what's going on?
Oh my God.
But now I'm like, huh? Oh. This is nice. This is so lovely. Oh, people are so lovely. And I'm like, me? Oh crap. Like it's so, and like I'm not going to say it's going to be brilliant and perfect forever. Like there's some nasty people out there, but the ones that have found me now, I'm like, it bowls me over how now that the right people have found me.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single time. Bro, where have you been? Oh my God, how have I never heard about you before? This time never. And I'm like,
listen, the amount of times, okay, you know something though? The thing that's happened to me recently is I actually just recently started getting, okay, I've gotten some like mean people saying things in the past before, right? Like somehow some person like found me and decided to make racist jokes or something like that. Or not even jokes, actually, that's not even the right word to use, just some racist remarks. And it's, ignore it, whatever. I'm a mature human being. I can just be like, yeah, whatever. All right, God bless you. I hope your life improves for whatever reason you felt the need to do this hateful thing. Clearly your life is not going so well, so I hope your life improves. God bless you. But now, like, that was like a one-off thing. Now I'm actually starting to get like legitimate hate comments, not because like my skin or anything, but just like, oh, this game is bad or whatever's bad, blah blah blah. It's like, oh, this is mid, and I'm like, oh shoot, I think I'm starting to make it. Like I'm actually like, that's how you know That's how you know when
No,
you made
legit.
it.
Because I think that's the saddest part as well. Like all the hate that I feel like I've gotten in the past, and Lord knows I've got enough of it, was literally just like, you're fat, you're ugly, and some variation of a racial slur or emoji, and it's the most unoriginal garbo. And I'll just turn around and be like, yeah, but you can't criticize my work though, can you?
Nah.
Like you actually can't. Because to do that, would require critical thinking for starters, but also would require you to admit the fact that there is something about you that just inherently doesn't like me. There's something else about me that you cannot flip and argue with, and that makes your skin itch. Like these people just cannot wrap their heads around it. They're just like, over, I'm always hangry. They're good, but I just, and they just want to pure foam at the mouth about something. But hey, we're winning.
But yeah,
and I'm
like
glad, like we're, you know, and it's slow and it's steady, and you know, it will find us. We might lose it sometimes. It will come back to us. But I feel like, and I love knowing that you're on the same path too. But like we're staying steady with it, and
Yeah,
it's good.
it's
And we're
progression.
doing, yeah, and we're doing what works for us. I feel like I've been telling people that all week. Like I'm like, listen, as long as I do this stuff on my own terms, it doesn't feel like it's going to bleed me dry in the way that it felt like it would when people were telling me to make content or were telling me to do things. Like I'm not a content creator, I'm an actor. I am an actor. I care about the art, I care about the craft, I care about community, I care about people. That above anything else is what matters to me. And now that I've cultivated a breadth of work that I feel like stands on its own 2 feet,
Yeah.
now I can look for my people and have fun with it and be creative and be funny. And you know, because it also means that like if that stuff doesn't work out, I'll just pull back and do what I was doing before.
Yeah.
What have I got to lose, you know? So it's been good.
Awesome. No, like that was really encouraging. Like I said, hopefully you guys take some encouragement from that. Like, you know, you're it's not you, it's just not, sometimes it's just not your time yet, right? So keep at it. Even me, like I'm not big by any stretch of the imagination. But we're growing, you know, we're making that little name for ourselves, and you know, all the work that has been gone in. So one interesting thing, some people know this, some people don't. I lost my channel like a year in. Like I was working at it for a whole year, and then the whole channel got deleted due to a technical error on YouTube's part. And I had to start from scratch. Like I was a year in and I had to start from scratch, and it was extremely demotivating. Like, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's a nah.
It was bad. It was. The worst part about it was.
You know what? I'm not even gonna dig. Sorry, you go.
No, yeah. Like the worst part about it was I saw all the people around me, because essentially it happened at the very beginning of Wuthering Waves. Like as soon as the game came out, which is technically the biggest time for growth for everybody. Like all the people around me, right? Other content creators, friends and stuff like that, all their channels saw like 2x, 5x increases, some 10. And the way YouTube works is like, you know, you have to kind of like get yourself into the algorithm. You know, so people know you. I had been doing that for a whole year. And then when my channel got deleted, right when the game started, I put out a video, it got like 200 views, and I was just like, because YouTube doesn't know where to send my videos. That's the whole thing. Like part of getting into the algorithm is YouTube has to figure out, okay, who are we sending your videos to? You know, who watches similar videos to you, blah, 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 blah. And I had that at first, and then I just had to start over. And it's interesting because like months later, like once again, I essentially missed the boom. I kept going, but I missed the boom. And months later, I had people reach out to me. Well, not reach out to me, but some people found me that didn't know. Because not everybody is in my Discord. If you aren't, feel free to join. Or not everybody follows me on X. Feel free to follow me on X. If you are on X. If you're not on X, don't download it. But yeah, so like they found me. They were like, oh my gosh, I thought you went somewhere. Like I stopped seeing your content. And that's exactly what my point was. It's just like I knew a lot of people would just think that I blipped off the face of the earth because they couldn't find me anymore. And I reached out to people, some people, like people who I thought, you know, I was cool with, like, hey, my channel got deleted. Could you potentially like tweet this out, or, you know, because maybe some people who follow me follow you. And some people responded, and then some other people were crickets. And I learned a valuable lesson that, you know, not everybody's who they said they were. But yeah, so it's been a journey. But like I said, we're here. we're making some progress, and I'm just looking forward to the future.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you for keeping going, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I would have packed it up. I would have been like, that's a wrap, guys. Let's cut the cameras. We're done. We're done. I'm flogging all my equipment. I'm done, because that would have pissed me off.
Yeah.
Oh, so no, good on you, man.
So, we got your intro journey. Let's dig into the story, right? Let's dig into the story. Abby's role, you know, just how did you get started with Wuthering Waves, the game? Like, what was the process of, like? So I spoke to Carthathia's voice actor, Amanda, and she was her experience was just like, she just got like this message about this random game that she didn't know the name for, but it's just like, yeah, you know, blah blah blah, and she was like, okay, and you know, so you know, one thing led to another, obviously, and she got the rope. So how was it for you? How did that process happen?
I mean, it's kind of the same. You know, you literally just like milling around on like a Wednesday afternoon. I'll be like getting a coffee somewhere or something, and then I'll get an email in. That's one thing about this job as well. Like, I can never really tell anyone where it's gonna go, because I could literally, like, my phone's buzzing at my feet. It's been buzzing for the last hour, and I could pick it up and potentially get a life-changing email. Like, that's how weird what we do is. And so, yeah, so it was like that. Like, I opened the email and it was like, oh, they want you to, you know, audition for a game. And it's very, very rare that you get any information about the game. Everything's under code names. Obviously, we're NDA'd up to our eyeballs. And so I was just like, okay, cool. Like, what is this? And actually, very, very rarely do they send artwork for the character. So don't really know what the character looks like. I remember opening the PDF and it was basically like flying Pikachu. And I was like, what's this? And they were like, oh yeah, they want you to audition for this little baby, this little creature. And I was like, oh, I want to audition for this little baby. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, what did they? And luckily, it was one of those briefs where they actually gave me like a lot of information, not necessarily about the world or the story, but more about like who and what Abby is. Not deep lore stuff, but just like, you know, general notes. Again, like I mentioned this in the TikTok that I made. Vocal notes about like where they think, like what, sometimes they send vocal references, literally. I don't think they did that for Abby, but sometimes they'll send me a link and be like, oh, think like Rogue from the X-Men 90s series, like, you know, and then you listen to it and then you'll try to adapt and figure things out. So I read the vocal brief, I read the things about the character, and for me, the biggest thing was the visual. The moment I saw Abby, I was like, I know exactly what this little dude sounds like.
Exactly.
Because it's a voice that I feel like I've had in my head my entire life.
That's so funny.
And so, yeah, I did it like the next day because I was so excited about it. And then I got the call saying that they want me to do it. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And it's another thing about like games like this, especially where, you know, you never know where it's going to lead in the future, because it could just be like, your character just appears in this one chapter, in this one part of the story.
Or the game
I didn't know that. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know what's happening with this character. Like, who knows? And people ask me like, oh my God, you must know so much from the beginning. I'm like, bro, you gotta remember, there are writers. There are writers that are still adapting the story as they go along. Sometimes even they don't know what they're doing. And that can go for literally any medium you think of. There are multiple people working on these things. And sometimes things change. Sometimes things get scrapped. Sometimes things get brought back. But one of the most rewarding things is knowing that as an actor, especially because obviously recasting is no mystery. Like, characters get recast all the time. And knowing that you do a solid enough job as an actor where the team write lines specifically for you, that became like a common theme in the sessions where people would be like, we really wanted to bring back Abby for this, or we really wanted Abby to say that. You know, like fleshing out my character more and writing them with my voice in mind was just like iconic. It was just amazing. And then, yeah, it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. And, you know, sometimes I'll get an email being like, oh, they need you in for a couple hours here or there. Then a few months will go by and they're like, okay, they need you again. Yeah, it's very much as and when. And I just sort of go with the flow with it, to be honest. And also I think people, and I'm just going to say this mainly for my own like sanity, everybody, they don't tell me a lot. They don't tell me an awful lot. I cannot answer questions for you. I cannot tell you what's going to happen because most of the time I don't know what's going to happen until I walk into the door. So that said, a lot of the time I'm just like, oh, and that's what Abby's doing today.
What you're saying, what I'm gathering is that you don't know what Super Echo Abby mode is.
Care to explain? Elaborate, elucidate.
No, so that was one of the lines when Abby's like, oh no, it says like something like, you know, hey, just make sure if something happens, let me know, or else I have to go Super Echo Abby mode on them or something like that.
Honestly, I think some of those kind of lines are just the game devs having fun. Some of them may have meaning in the future.
Oh, okay.
But I will put my hand on heart and say a lot of the time, again, I'm just learning as I go along, and I wish I could give people answers, but also I'm NDA'd up to my eyeballs, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't tell ya.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
One thing I wanted to kind of get out, because I think this is a question that some people have, not everybody, but because you mentioned earlier, you're like, oh, I know exactly what this little dude sounds like. So one of the questions that people ask is like, oh, is Abby a guy? Is Abby a girl? What have you? So as the lore person, I think I'll take a little stab at this. It doesn't matter. So I call Abby a guy, and I tell this to chat all the time. And the real reason why I call Abby a guy is because Chisha, when we first are, you know, figuring out what Abby's name is, Chisha was like, refers to Abby as little dude. And so from that point on, I was like, okay, little dude, that's what it is then. Once again, however, when you dig into the lore of Abby and what we now know after the finale, it was mentioned actually very briefly in the initial conversation when Abby was figuring out their name. Abby was like, Abra, Abraxas, and then Abby. That was like the conversation. A lot of people missed that. And so when that first happened, like obviously I'm paying attention to every little detail. And so I was like, okay, Abraxas, when you look up that name and what that name means, it quite literally is a genderless being, basically. Like, so realistically speaking, Abby is whatever you want Abby to be. It doesn't really matter. Some people call Abby he, she, whatever. Abby is Abby, and that's really all that matters. So just to clarify that, because I know you mentioned dude, and some people are gonna be saying, oh, I thought Abby was a she, and it's just like it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So
yeah, I could get into the argument, and I won't, but of like the kind of characteristics people really want in their core to assign to gender as we know it in this society, in this world that we live in right now. But that's a whole other semantical argument that I just don't want to get into.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, Abby is a flying rabbit in a made-up universe, and I don't want it to be a divisive thing.
Yeah,
I don't want it to be something that people are hung up on and argue about, because guys, let's be honest, there's bigger things going on in the world. And the fact that whatever I identify as Safiyya Ingar, actor, human being, like, should not be relevant as to Abby and what they identify as, because as far as they're concerned, again, they're just a flying rabbit helping Rover out, eating lots of good food, having naps, like saving the day. That's all it has to be.
Agreed.
And I think anyone that wants to be hung up on it, I'm sorry, you're focusing on the wrong thing. It's nice that people are curious about it. I also do understand that there's a whole other thing of like localization and subtitles and all the languages. You know, obviously there are very strict linguistic rules around like certain languages and using masculine and feminine terms. So I understand that's also a restriction that people are working from. So I understand with some people it may not be so much a divisive thing, but it's more like, oh no, but in the language that I digest this medium from, they call Abby he, or they call Abby she, and so I'm like, from that, I totally understand. And again, if that's what your version of Abby is, that's absolutely fine. What I really don't want people to do is start making it about like a like a fight.
Yeah, no, 100%.
As to like what they actually are.
And if the devs at one point,
Abby.
if the devs at one point decide to give like an actual like let's just say theoretically Abby gets a human version, right, or a humanized anthropomorphic version, and it aligns more with like a more masculine or a more feminine, what have you, well then that's just what the devs wanted to do. And I think that's the thing is you have to respect the artist and what their artistic vision is. And so maybe there's an intentional reason. Like just imagine like Abby is like crazy theory crafting, right? Imagine Abby is actually like the space lady, like from the beginning of the game. Like, imagine,
pretty space lady.
Yeah, like imagine that's who Abby actually is, right? And so you find that out that at the very end, that's who that is. This is like legitimately has no real bearing, but just theoretically. Well, at that point, okay, Abby's a she. But once again, at the end of the day, just enjoy the game, enjoy the character. If we find out, cool. If we don't, you can still enjoy the character regardless. So yeah,
exactly.
That little aside.
And I think if it helps with my performance, I'm not gendering Abby in my head. I have the voice, I have the personality, I have their personality traits, their tenacity, their humor, their wit, their greediness, like all of that. I play with that. I'm not playing with gender in mind. I'm playing with the character.
And that's helpful, actually. Yeah. That actually is helpful. So yeah, I just wanted to, just in case for those people who might have been curious, and like I said, maybe they're just curious, like not
of course,
not harmfully curious. So cool. But yeah, so you said you just you got the profile. Okay, this is what we're doing. So I guess, and you touched on something really interesting right there. The thought process behind what you think about when you're Abby, like happy, greedy, which I think is really cool. Could you expand on that a little bit more? Like just that process in the booth of what you're bringing to mind, I guess, when you're voicing Abby?
I'm not, I just have fun. I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, what's Abby doing right now? And usually Abby leaps out, says something to Rover, sniffs around, tries to find something, has some food, goes back to sleep. And then we have those big cinematic moments where Abby's like doing bits and rushing around and grabbing space gems and flying through the air and, you know, saving Rover from drowning, like all of that kind of stuff. I'm just really present with it. And I'm like, okay, what's Abby's motivation right now? Like, is it like, you know, oh, like their belly really hurts because they're trying to find some food, or like someone promised that they'd get fed and they're just like, hello, I know we're on this mission right now, but I want some food.
Hey.
Or is it just like, you know, is it like a really intimate moment with Rover, which we've obviously had a bit more of lately, where, you know, we're chatting to Rover, things are getting dark, shit is hitting the fan, so to speak, and I'm just like, you know, like we're gonna do this together, like it's gonna be great, we're gonna be okay, and we're fighting together. And it's just about my connection with whoever I'm speaking to, because it's such a huge universe. I mean, it's literally you're doing the bits, like keeping tabs on everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's really difficult to do that when I'm in the booth like once every few months sometimes, and you know, I have a life in between all of that. Like I wish to God that I could give the fans what they feel like happens with this process, and we internalize and we hold it all. But Abby for me is the kind of character that I love walking into the booth for, because for just like an hour or two or whatever long they want me for, I just get to like giggle and have fun and like thrash around and sniff and, you know, do silly things.
Yeah, I will say this.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more Abby. I'm hoping that as the story continues, we get a lot more Abby, honestly. Because like I said, me personally, I appreciate Abby because Abby adds something to the story. Abby's just not just like while Abby does have a degree of comic relief, but Abby adds something. Abby is helpful. You know, Abby uses, you know, Abby's sniffer quite a lot to help Rover, like, okay, this frequency is no good, or there, you know, that moment where Abby basically was like, what did you just consume, man? Or woman, depending on which Rover you have. Like, that is...
I told you to stop sticking random stuff in here.
Exactly.
I love moments like that because it's just because it also I think I think characters like Abby just give the main character an opportunity to just like unplug for a second, and I hope that I give it that levity. And from what I'm hearing people say, it's nice to think that I do. And then obviously some people need to chime in every once in a while and be like, I actually find Abby really annoying. Okay, cool, that's fine.
It's not Abby's. Let me just. It's not your fault. I need to tell you this. I actually need to tell you this. It is not your fault. The reason why people think Abby is annoying is because they have PTSD from a different game. There's a different flying creature.
Oh yeah, I'm very aware of the discourse.
Which it's
I am
PTSD.
Very unfortunate to be wrapped up in.
I just wanted to let you know, like, it's definitely not your fault when people are saying that. Abby, most reasonable people like absolutely adore Abby. Like, there's really nothing to hate about Abby. And like I said, I really think there's just a lot of PTSD happening here, mental PTSD. So I hopefully you don't take that too much to heart, because you've done a really great job at voicing Abby. Like, for me, every time Abby gets on the screen, I light up. I'm just like, yes, more Abby, thank you. Now, I can't say in good faith that you're gonna have happy lines forever, because something tells me, like, when we get later in the game, just something tells me something might happen with Abby if Cristoforo's words are anything to go by. But for now, I think we can enjoy, we'll enjoy the happy times for now.
Enjoy the current content, guys, because it may not last forever.
I'm kidding. It's not cryptic, I promise. Everyone's just like, what does Safiyya Ingar mean? I don't mean anything. I'm just trying to tell y'all to have a good time. That's it.
No, awesome. I think this was really eye-opening. And one of the things I wanted to say is, as we're kind of wrapping things up, I want you to definitely, tell everybody, where they can find you, so forth, so on.
So you can find me on TikTok and Instagram. Those are my most active platforms at Safiyya Ingar. I don't really use Twitter that much anymore. Sorry guys, I know I made a bit of a resurgence on there, and loads of people have followed me on there. I don't really post that much there on there anymore, and to be honest, I may not have that platform forever. So I'm posting stuff on TikTok now, which is cute. It's just some stuff to engage with you guys a bit better. Keep your eyes out. And I also still do theater and things like that as well. So I'm constantly around. I'm constantly doing different things. But yeah, I'm around. Just look for me and you'll find me.
For sure. And so, like I said, thank you so much. Just like I said, for this conversation, for this opportunity. We appreciate you in the Wuthering Waves space for the work that you've done. We look forward to continue working. Like I said, hopefully, just more Abby presence in general, because I just can't go wrong with more Abby. So,
thank you.
Hopefully you all have enjoyed this as well. And I will have to say this. I know there's a lot of people who are wondering, some of the information about Abby, going within the game and the future, so forth, so on. And with that being said, I'll be having a lore video coming out very soon, to kind of explain Abby's role in the story from what we know, as well as some future implications for Abby. I guarantee you it will shock you. And I don't make empty promises. So until next time, I will catch you all. Peace.
Bye.
Hey, you. Do the thing.